This troika of tyranny, this triangle of terror stretching from Havana to Caracas to Managua, is the cause of immense human suffering. Under President Trump, the United States is taking direct action against all three regimes to defend the rule of law, liberty, and basic human decency in our region.
National Security Advisor John Bolton drawing a clear line in the sand, announcing new sanctions on Venezuela and Cuba, with the promise of additional penalties for Nicaragua. The three countries singled out for what the administration claims are human rights violations and political repression. Let's bring in former CIA Station Chief Dan Hoffman. Dan, good morning to you. Do you agree with this move on the part of the administration?
Yeah, I do. I think the administration assessed that helping these three rogue states to grow their economies would not put us on a path to deliver the political reform that the people in those nations very much deserve. And in fact, to the contrary, it provides just the resources for those countries to pursue policies which are absolutely in opposition to U.S. national security and enables them to trample on their people's democracy and human rights. So I think it's the right call for sure.
So as we stated, the new sanctions he announced were on Venezuela and Cuba. He said that sanctions against Nicaragua were coming in, quote, the very near future. Can you estimate for us what the impact of these sanctions would or will be?
Well, I think what we need is a whole of government approach, and there'll be a significant impact of the sanctions. I mean, that coupled with just general mismanagement in those countries. Venezuela sits on the world's largest oil reserves, and yet because of their economic mismanagement, their economy is greatly struggling. But we've got to watch out for China and Russia in particular, both of which have interests in the region and are pursuing those interests very much at odds with our strategy.
It's really interesting when you talk about leadership. He actually took a moment during that speech to hail the elections of what he referred to as like-minded leaders in Colombia and Brazil, where, as we know, that right-wing candidate Bolsonaro won the presidency in Brazil just last week. He said, his words, he sees this as positive signs for the future of the region. Dan.
Yeah, and I think the administration is being really clear about the role that we want to play. And you're seeing Ambassador Bolton using the bully pulpit there to be, I think, an inspiration for the people of the region and expressing U.S. policies in support of human rights and democracy and economic growth is absolutely the right way to go.
You know, that branding of the troika of tyranny, how would you describe the message that the Trump administration is putting forward with this type of announcement, and in particular the language that they're using, Dan?
Well, I think we're supporting the forces of democracy in those nations, and I think it could be a real powerful inspiration for those in opposition. I hearken back to Ronald Reagan's Evil Empire speech, which had an extraordinarily positive impact on dissidents in the Soviet Union. I think the people in these countries who are being subjected to human rights abuses and denied the freedom of opportunity we enjoy in this country have to be listening with great appreciation.
Yeah, and he also went to great lengths to distance the Trump administration's policies here from the Obama administration. Finally, I want to ask you about the replacement for the UN ambassador. With Nikki Haley on the way out, there's a lot of talk about Heather Nauert. Here's the president on Nauert.
She's under very serious consideration. She's excellent. She's been with us a long time. She's been a supporter for a long time, and she's really excellent. So she's under very serious. We'll probably make a decision next week. We have a lot of people that want the job, and there are a lot of really great people.
And as we know, Heather Nauert is the current spokesperson for the State Department, formerly a colleague of ours here at Fox News.
Yeah, you know, Nikki Haley set the bar, Ambassador Haley set the bar super high as ambassador to the UN. She was exceptional right from the very first day when she called out nations who weren't going to have our back. She'd be taking names. I think Heather Nauert certainly has developed a lot of experience at the State Department, and maybe most importantly, she's got the president's ear and trust, and that's really important if indeed she's chosen as ambassador to the UN. I have no doubt there are many who would like the job, and the president probably has a long list from which he's going to choose in the best qualified candidate.
The president saying that she is under very serious consideration. Will probably make a decision next week, says the president. So we'll see where all of that goes. Dan, great to have you on this morning. Dan Hoffman,
thank you.
Thank you.